What about the carnivore diet? Hey, it's Malcolm Saunders here, creative visionary of Light Seller, helping you find and learn how to craft your own food and medicine. Recently had a wonderful mother-daughter in the store, and the mom was asking me, she says, Malcolm, what do you think about the carnivore diet? She's got a couple of people in her life that have recently gotten onto it, are getting amazing results, and it's really got her thinking. She's like, maybe I should do this. And I just want to say right up, straight up, anything that works for you. I'm not here to say, one should do one diet over another. I have learned my lesson through all the experimentation, the extreme things I've taken on for myself, using my own body as a testing ground. I also have a ton of experience observing anecdotal evidence, being kind of at the center of this health hub, watching people go through all these different iterations of their diets, trying different foods, trying different supplements. And where I'm at now is much more of a middle of the path, middle road. And I want to share with you kind of some insights as to the carnivore diet, because there are tons of testimonials about how amazing it is. And I don't want to take that away from anybody. If you are on carnivore, it's working for you, awesome, go for it. The one caveat might be is let's just see for how long, because there are a number of individuals that have gone down that path. Let's talk about, Paul Saladino, just as one example, who's kind of more publicly known, the carnivore MD. And so he would view himself as, having tamed it back, become a little bit more moderate, less just all animal foods, and recognizes the value of other foods like fruits and honey and that type of thing into his diet. The most important thing is find out what works for you and go with it. And it's really great to try these things on, just like I have, right? Fasting, amazing. I love fasting. I've gotten so much benefit from fasting. And though it has its ups and downs, there are points where you're just like feeling incredible when you are on a water fast, juice fast. Any of those kinds of experiences can be extremely beneficial, but it's in the short term. I went through the whole vegetarian, vegan, raw vegan phase, and I saw the same enthusiasm of like, okay, we're going all the way, like raw vegan, only eating uncooked plant foods. And there were benefits for some people for a certain amount of time, but then the deficiencies started showing up. And I experienced that firsthand myself. And I've definitely tried carnivore. And I want to make a really clear distinction here. So this is kind of my approach, and this is how I think about diet. I'm done with the extremes. I don't know about you, but I don't want to exist on this end or that end. There is a time and a place. Maybe it is to kind of reset your metabolism. Maybe it's really to heal, to cleanse, to go to those extremes, to do a diet, right? They're temporary, that can bring a ton of benefit for certain individuals for a certain amount of time. But I'd rather kind of exist more in that middle path, 80-20. So if here on one end, we've got carnivore, right? Just eating meat. And on the other end, we've got vegan, just eating plant foods, something a little bit more moderate, right? You have people that are plant-based, and then you have people that are animal-based. Okay, so that would, to me, would infer, more than 50% is plants, or more than 50% is animal foods. Maybe that's the magic 80-20, 60-40, 70-30, right? You can lean one way or another because meat makes you feel so good, right? You get the energy, but you're not excluding all the other wonderful foods that nature provides, that humans as omnivores, we eat everything, right? What do we as animals, what do humans eat? We eat plants, animals, bacteria, fungi. Now, again, there are examples of people that only eat animal foods, and you'll hear them say like, carrots are out to kill you, right? Like, okay, like I get it, like plants, it is their defense mechanisms, is the chemistry, right? And you can look at that chemistry as toxins, as its own protective defense mechanism to kind of kill you, take you down. Or you can see it like a herbalist does and go, oh, okay, there's some active chemistry here. What response, what effect does it have on the body? Plants are also a source of nutrients. And if prepared well, intelligently, properly, this is where we've kind of completely gone off the rails as we've started demonizing different foods because we haven't, you know, in time honored, tried true, tested ways, we haven't been preparing them consciously. So with plant foods, especially nuts, seeds, grains, it's about soaking, sprouting, roasting, fermenting, to make, reduce the number of anti-nutrients, toxic chemicals that are out to kill you, and optimizing the nutrition that it can give you. Now, what I love about this is what I call the ancestral food guide, the natural food guide. Every culture around the world, throughout time has been seen to eat foods from these 4 food groups. This doesn't tell you what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat. That's the individual journey. That is you figuring out for yourself. And again, I claim we are omnivores, right? And it can be any percentage, right? Maybe you are even like 90% animal foods, right? But then there's maybe 5% of some plant foods like fruits. Fruits are amazing. They're so delicious. They're so joyful. They're so nutritious. Yeah. And those that have kind of maybe been part of that far extreme of carnivore, many of them have actually welcomed fruits. Just looking at it even from that standpoint of, okay, the chemistry in carrots are there to kill you. It's not there in the fruits, right? The fruits are meant to be eaten. It's how it's passing on its seed, like in the case of berries, as one example. I really love herbs, right? So a lot of my plant content that I consume is in the form of herbal matter, as tea, tinctures, these kinds of things. And then maybe it's, I'm just making up numbers, 2.5%, bacteria, 2.5% fungi. There are compounds, there are nutrients in each of these kingdoms, food groups that the others do not offer, right? There's incredible value from the fungi kingdom, the bacterial rich foods, even to ferment your animal foods, ferment your plant foods. So I'd rather, this is to me personally, if you ask me, well, Malcolm, what do you eat? I eat animal based. It's definitely not a 90-10. Maybe it's an 85-15. It's kind of where I have landed after going this way, going that way, and then I've just kind of landed here. You're like, that's really what works for my body for the long term. It works for my lifestyle. Make me feel really good, vital, full of energy. Could I benefit, did I benefit from going, extreme carnivore for a short amount of time? Yeah, amazing. But having done that again with like plant foods and vegan, I knew to kind of come back to center. And of course, if somebody is on either end of these extremes and it's working for them, awesome. That's what this is about, right? Try things out, find what works for you, and go for it. Go for it with the open-mindedness that your body and its needs and its requirements changes day to day, week to week, month to month, season to season, also the seasons of life, right? It's very different to watch, a middle-aged male in, like say his 40s or 50s at a certain stage of life, thriving off a particular diet, either one of these, and a mother who just became pregnant or is preparing for pregnancy or just delivered a baby and is nursing, right? Those requirements are so different, so individual, and that's going to change for her as she goes through those stages of gestation to nursing and so on and so forth. And again, traditional cultures, they had kind of a wider angle lens of that, and there were certain foods that were prescribed for couples who wanted to conceive, for the pregnant women, for young children, that type of thing. So carnivore, awesome. It's great. If it's working for you, plant foods, great if that's working for you. But just think about, this kind of more middle path, plant-based, animal-based, or maybe you're just right in the middle. You enjoy both, all kinds of foods. And you can swing way one or another to really kind of test it out. But I think, the longevity really lies in being the omnivore. But ultimately, it's all up to you. Diet is so personal, it's so individual. I hope this kind of helps give a little bit of insight, broaden the lens, kind of cut through some of the noise. When you're on social media, there can be a lot of people, raving, and rightly so, about their experience, their results. That is their results in that moment in time. And it may change. And I've been around this industry for so long that I've seen it change for people. I've seen it change for myself. I got hyper religious about a certain way of eating, and then it changed, right? My body changed and my mind had to change, and I had to readjust. And so now I'm out of the extremes, off the sides, and more in that middle path, and just making those little changes and shifts based upon how my body is feeling. And that's what I suggest for you as well. So hope that helps. Let me know down below. What do you think? Are you in the carnivore camp, plant-based camp, or vegan camp, or kind of more in that middle? Love to hear from you.